Hi everyone, it's Sarah Altair, and this is the Midweek Zap. Want to welcome all the Zapsters here, and today we're talking about strategy. We're going to have an intensive with Jason T. Weiser. Jason, I'm so glad you are joining us today. So tell everyone who doesn't know about you a little bit about yourself.
Well, Zara, thanks so much for having me. I really enjoy being a guest on shows like this, and I was quite honored that when you reached out to me. So thank you so much. So I'm Jason Weiser, and I have a couple different projects that I'm working on right now. My main company is Weiser Sites LLC. Building custom WordPress solutions is just one of the pieces that we do, but we really do full, comprehensive business strategy and online marketing strategy for customers of all different shapes and sizes, small business owners. Then I'm also the voice behind the mic on ontracktips.com, and that's a weekly program that we have actually kind of backed off on. Unfortunately, we had to back off on that for a little while. But ontracktips.com, that's kind of our main marketing engine. And lastly, I'm involved in a project called Social Warfare, which we'll be telling you a little bit more about. But it's enough to know that it is the perfect and ultimate social sharing plugin for WordPress. Absolutely, it's a must-get. You must have it.
It's really fantastic, and we talked a little bit about it a couple of weeks ago when Dustin was here, so you can just bring everybody up to speed with those who don't know about it today. So we're going to talk about strategy today, Jason. So in the green room, you had mentioned that business strategy is better than marketing strategy. So tell the folks why you said that.
Well, it's okay. So I think in the context of where we were talking, what I meant to say was it would be better to talk about business strategy than marketing strategy. But I think that what's important to understand is that marketing strategy is very important, but it really is just a subset of your business strategy. It's a piece of your business strategy. And, it's much like the conversation that we had a while back with Ryan Hanley. Excellent conversation on specialists versus generalists. And it really just says, how far down, at a very upper level, there's your business strategist who's kind of looking at all different parts of your business, everything from the back end, including your financials and your banking and getting things in order there, staffing, as well as product creation and development, and then your marketing, your branding, etc. So marketing just kind of falls in as one of those pieces within your business overall arching business strategy.
I think that's so I really believe in, I call it overarching as well. It's one of my words. The overarching concept behind everything. And we have had on the show before Ammon Johns, and he is very passionate about, before you go out and do that marketing strategy, that you have all those basics in place. Your product, your website, your services, whatever it is that you actually offer out into the world, that you've got to have those in place. You have to have those structured. You have to have them created and done before you really go out and market. That the marketing is only a part of that overall picture.
Well, on that point though, isn't it interesting? When we got to be careful when we talk about things in generalities or in general terms, because everybody's in a different place in their business, right? The reality, when I started with my business, I didn't even realize I had a business when I was first starting out in social media. What I had was a real passion for being social and getting out and learning the tools and the tips and the tuts and the ways to use social. Built huge followings and amassed a number of people that I was, very engaged with, and great communities, but I really didn't have a product. I mean, I was doing like WordPress websites, and a little bit here and there, but I really wasn't, like, I had no website, I had no landing pages, I wasn't driving traffic, I wasn't coordinated, right? But I built a really great big audience that once I did start making products, it really was kind of easy, not totally easy, but I mean it was a lot easier than having to start, say, for the indie author, for example. I think that the indie author should start building an audience before they write their book, right? But I think that somebody that's maybe doing widget production, I think you're going to be a whole lot better off if you create your widgets and you know what your products and services are, then you build a landing page, and then from there you do email marketing, and then from there you do social media marketing. So you kind of start at the bottom and work up. But so it really depends on which niche you're in, I think, as to where should you really start. I don't think you can categorically say that, which is one of the key pieces of business strategy. If you come to a business strategist and they say anything to you categorically, then I really would hesitate to work with them. I think you need to first start by saying, who are you? What is your business? What is your business objectives? What are your products and services? You know, what are your profit margins? What are your bottom lines? What is your exit strategy? Start looking at a lot of these different things before we start talking 10 ways to optimize Pinterest, right?
Ah, does everybody see why I have Jason here today? Jason, would you briefly explain to everyone what an exit strategy is?
Yeah. Okay. So I think that's something that many people don't do when they first start in business. Now, there's different kinds of business owners too. By the way, I just spoke recently with Denise Wakeman, and we were talking about 3 different categories, if you will. Other employed, which means working for somebody else, 9 to 5, 40-hour-a-week job, for example. Self-employed, somebody who is maybe doing, maybe you're doing copywriting, or you're a VA or an assistant, or and then the third one would be bootstrapping, or business owner. Well, of course, that would, that could be include venture capitalist or any other investors or whatever. But essentially, you're building a big business, right? So you have to think about it in terms of those 3 things. So if I'm working for somebody else, my exit strategy is to start working for myself, right? And if I'm working for myself, my exit strategy is to build a business so that I no longer have to trade hours for dollars, right? Now that's not to say that some people some people don't want the headache of having to build a business, right? I don't want to have to. So there is no real exit strategy. I just want to make sure that I make, instead of working for somebody else and making $10 to $12 an hour, I want to work for myself and make $25 to $30 an hour, right? Instead of having to go to do a business and I have to manage team and staff and take on all that liability and all of that risk. So in terms of big business, though, and an entrepreneur of that 3rd section, your exit strategy says this. It says, in 5 years, what can I do to sell this? What can I do to remove myself from the business? Not saying you have to, but it's just saying that, can I sell it? Can I? So here's an example. Right now at Wiser Sites, predominantly our products and services have been building web solutions, websites, custom WordPress, plugins, themes, and consulting, right? Well, the one problem with consulting is when I get a consulting client on the line, they come up to me and they say, Jason, we want to talk to you about business strategy, right? So I can only take on so many business consulting clients because I only have so many hours in my day. There is no exit strategy for me there. Even if I charge $250 an hour, right, and I work 60 hours a week, I can only make X amount of dollars, and once I stop working those hours, I'm done. The income stops. There's no exit strategy. So I realized that with Wiser Sites, for me to have an exit strategy, we needed to start developing subscription services. And we have a number of different subscription services, like a WordPress monitoring service where we maintain and update your plugins, which is a really wonderful one. We got some local SEO report stuff that we can do for you and help you out with. And hosting was something that we decided to take on for our clients. We provide some really incredible opportunities for hosting, private, intimate, and you have to know me to be able to get in on the deal. But anybody that's listening here, if you're a friend of Zara's, I'd certainly be willing to talk to you about it. But exit strategy, which your questions are, and that is now, I'm seeing that in 5 years, if I continue to build the hosting, I continue and staff that with adequate IT and customer support, if I continue to build products and subscriptions, services, then you know what? I could take 10 days off next Christmas. And then 5 years from now, I can sell this company to somebody outright for a flat rate, and then I'm done. And I now take that money and invest in another company or not, or I reinvest it back into this and build out more services.
Thank you. That's a great description, and I think the exit strategy is something many people don't think about. And we've had Stephanie Sims, who works in the financial arena, here on the show, and she has also talked about that and putting that into your financial vision. So I just wanted to also, we've got some people responding to all your passion here, and the first one is Ray A. Miller. It says, passion is the key to success. Thanks, Ray. I have to agree, especially if you're just independent. And Deborah Rock is saying, if you build it, they will come, which I think was one of the very first things we were talking about, Jason, this morning. And all right, and then Kristen, yay, bless your heart, Kristen, has posted the link to Specialist versus Generalist, so thanks very much for that, Kristen. And then somebody you may know, Nicholas Cardot, that's what we call a good old-fashioned Jason Wire firehose rant, and that's what we love about Jason Weiser.
He just wants a raise, that's all.
So, let's get back to...
Zara, Zara,
Yeah.
real quick, I'm looking through the stream right now, and I see Tammy's office solution has a great question. She says, what if your exit strategy is to have your company giving you residual income with me removed? Yeah, Tammy, great point. Yeah, that's exactly it, right? That's one exit strategy, and that's really kind of what I'm hoping to do here, right? It's like with hosting, for example. Right? So people pay an annual hosting fee. I'm investing quite a bit initially to get that built, to get the infrastructure in place, and to kind of to get it staffed, to build some systems with the goal that, over time and enough clients, and we've done the math on it to see how big that has to get in order for it to scale adequately. But that's absolutely it. There's that residual income that I can either sell, because somebody looks and they say they're buying the business, they're buying the system, the personnel, the clients, your branding, your marketing. You can just sell all that as one piece, or I can will that to my wife and children. It's all working. It's all a working machine. And once it gets to a point of, critical mass, and that's of course defined different in every business, but when it gets to a certain point where it kind of is self-sustaining. With the proper personality. It's exactly it, Tammy. And so I would say to everybody, no matter where you are in your business, even if you're a virtual assistant, ask yourself, if you're right now, if you're helping somebody else write their blog or transcribe videos or doing, some Photoshop work, ask yourself, what can I do that will help generate residual income over time? And just always be thinking about that. What's my talents? What's my skills? What's something that I can replicate beyond myself? Staffing, outsourcing, that's another great one, right? I can only work 40 hours in a week, but if I hire 10 people and they all want to work 40, now all of a sudden I'm working 400 hours in a week, right? And I'm able to take profit for the company from their hours.
We have also that was a great statement, Tammy, and I know that when I actually sold a business in 2002, and part of it was something that you mentioned, Jason, which I think is important, is finding someone who resonates with your clients, and that for me was the hardest part. That was the hardest part, so it is something to think about. And then Widget says, I agree, plan before you spend money, time, effort on marketing. So that's just a follow-up to where
I think Vivekananda, I think that there is a point where you can invest time into marketing initially because you kind of need to understand it, right? But how much time, how much energy? So I think there's a point where I see people online, they're so invested in their social media activities that they're not working on their business. They're really just working on engagement and community building, which are absolutely imperative to business today. Absolutely, right? But when you end up spending too much time and energy there and not building your products and services, not building your infrastructure, not working on staffing and outsourcing, then you really have nowhere to grow. You've got this great big community, and then the day comes when they say, "Wow, you're really fascinating. What do you do?" And you're like, well, and now you've lost it. You've lost that potential sale because you have nothing to sell. You have nothing to offer. So I think at some level, yes, you do want to learn a little bit about marketing as you go. Read a tutorial here and there about 10 tips of Instagram or Facebook or whatever, but don't get so entrenched in it. Instead, know enough about it to hire the right person. That's kind of my mantra. Know enough about some topic to know. I know enough about web development and WordPress backend development to know that when I hired Nicholas Cardot or brought him on our team, that it was the greatest thing I could have ever done. The man is an absolute genius. If you guys don't have him circled, make sure you head over and circle him because he's also a very interesting fella.
He's a very interesting fellow. And could you follow up on that just a little bit and talk about finding those people that you're outsourcing certain parts of your business? What is your vetting process, if you don't mind sharing just briefly?
It's everybody. I get this question a lot. I have gone through and tried outsourcing in many different areas. I've tried in-person, outsourcing or hiring somebody from my local community that I know that we could work side by side. I've met a number of different people online. I look for people that do something really well, and I look at them and I'm like, hold it. Are you working for somebody right now? You've got talents and skills, and I know that we can put those talents and skills, and we can help you hone those. We can give you, a lot of times people that, like, especially in things like social media, CSS, front-end development, what you need is a client to work on. You need analytics, right? If you don't have data to work with, how are you going to learn how to properly manipulate analytics or how to read it or how to assess it, right? So what I've got is clients, and what you've got is a passion to do this thing, and I see that you're doing it, but I see you don't have somebody work. So I offer you a wage that I feel is fair and that the market can bear, and just say, hey, is this something you'd be interested in working with me on? And interestingly enough, that's how many of our full-time staffers here came. I found them in social, the friends, maybe hired them for a little project here or there, and then they just, I don't know, they stuck around for some reason or another.
Could be that you're likable fellow.
Well, I'm really not, though. If you came to work for me a little bit, I think you'd disagree. But
I just, we brought up an interesting point, and he said we always need exit strategy, even for life. And I truly believe that's true, because what if something happened to you? What's happening with your business? How does
what happens to your business? What happens to your clients? What happens to your colleagues, your employees? Yeah.
So I just thank you, Widget, for pointing that out, because it's the end point of exit strategy is what happens to your business if something happens to you. So I want to thank everybody for being here, and thank you for your involvement, all the great Zapsters. And I'm going to bring Widget up one more time. We need balance in ourselves to maintain a good bank balance. You said it. I only made it a bit more punchy, Jason. Great one. Widget. Okay. And then, what would you say is the number one strategy for business? I know that's a big overarching deal, but
no, it's really simple. It's really simple. First of all, people try to overarch it and try to overcomplicate it and try to convolute it and twist it and spin it and throw it around. And it's this simple. Here's the secret to having a successful business. Why? That's it. 3 letters. Why? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing that? Why did I do this? Why did I do that? And when you look back and you think, well, why did I do that? And you're like, oh, man, why did I do that? Seriously, now let's think about this, okay? So why am I on social media today? Why am I posting 3 posts a day? Why is it that I have to curate content? that other people have written, and why am I not posting my own content? Now, to all of these things, you're going to find polarized, pendulum swinging discussions. One person's going to say, never post other people's stuff. The other person's going to say, no, only post your stuff to your social media streams once every 10 posts, right? Well, somewhere in the middle of all that is truth. Right? Somewhere in between there, you don't want to make everybody annoyed because you're a blowhard, but on the other hand, you still want to be able to post other people's stuff and be friendly, and there is something that says, I share your stuff, you share mine, and community and friendship. It's in the middle. So the answer to the perfect business strategy is this: why? And people don't ask themselves that. Why did I use this header? Why do I have ads on the side? Are they converting? Right? If they're not converting, why did I put Google ads on my website? Well, I wanted to make some money. Well, are you making any money on it? Well, no, I'm really not. Well, then why are they still there? Why are you doing email marketing? Well, I'm doing email marketing because I know that that's what everybody has to be doing. Well, are you doing it effectively? Well, not really. I'm not growing. Well, why aren't you growing? Oh, well, it's because I'm not really doing anything. I'm not making any offers, or I'm not being aggressive at getting people to sign up. For example, anybody that's ever seen my show, On Track Tips, right? Head on over to ontracktips.com, look for the big red button, and push it. Why is it big and red? Because everybody loves to push big red buttons, right? Why am I sending you to my email list? Because that's where we do some of our marketing from. I really think it's that simple, and yeah, maybe I'm. Mm-hmm.
No, that was wonderful. I just thought it was wonderful, and I have to agree that looking at ourselves, what some people may call core values, that the why is it. I love your list of why questions, because they were some of them very specific about actions, and some of them were bigger about why you're doing the business at all. And then I got to give you a pat on the back here. Deborah Rock says, I'm going to watch this show over and over again. Great information for anyone, even if you're not a business owner, but just trying to have a great portfolio with your web presence. So you're getting people there.
No, and Deborah, that's have a great portfolio with your web presence, because let's think about it. In today's economy, right, the web is a currency in and of its own. Even though things are free, right? Even though you can come to my stream and you can read whatever you want on my stream, all the posts I curate, whatever, right? To generate that relationships, and now some people are going to look at me and say, what, are you kidding me? Are you going to reduce friendship and relationship to dollars and cents? Well, no, come on, please don't flatten me out that much, or don't criminalize me for saying this. But the reality is people are on social for two reasons, right? One, because we want to just have fun and be social, but the other reason is because we want to make some money, right? And so if you're just online, there's a currency. That community that you're building, that is a currency that you can always tap into sometime, some way. So I think that that's a great. I gotta look that up again. Can you pull that up again so I can quote? There she is. But just trying to have a great portfolio with your web presence. Yeah, I think there's a lot to that. I was talking with Nick just the other day, and we were saying, let's face it, if I'm on social media, and I know there's a lot of people that aren't going to like this, right? I'm on social media. I do like people. There's a lot of people I've met that I love them. They're very good friends, But the reality is I can live in two places. I can either live online or I can live offline. Online are a bunch of people that are really cool, that are really interesting and a lot of fun. Offline is my wife and two children. And the reality is what I'm doing online has to somehow translate to providing me, at least in my life, my business objective, the goal, my 5-year exit strategy is to spend more time with my family, right? So I think that going back to Deborah's statement, right, you can spend that time to build a web presence and a portfolio, and if you think of it in terms of a currency, and again, please don't criminalize me for this or, misquote me on this or misread into this, but if you're on social to just be social, well, that's okay. But don't be afraid to be on social to generate revenue either.
That's bottom line vision. And I wanted to bring up something from Roland Takaoka. Hi, Roland. Japanese philosophy, improvement, constant and never ending. It's called Kaizen.
Wonderful. Hey, nice to meet you, Roland. I don't think I've ever met you online before. I'm going to go over there and circle you.
Yeah,
There's a lot of people I haven't seen here. Deborah, I've never met you before, but of course there's a lot that I see. Ray, it's great to see you. Kristen, what a sweetheart. She actually helps us out with On Track Tips Google Plus page. She's phenomenal. One of those people just met online, saw that she just loves to talk online, and people love talking to her. And I'm like, hey, you want to help us out? And she's like, oh, okay. So we just she didn't put up a big plaque that said, hey, I'm looking for a job. Anybody want to hire me? No, she just went in and was passionate, and somebody happened to notice her passion and say, hey, you know what? We can work together. I'll give you people to talk to, and we can work together on this. Oh, Candy's here. Hey, Candy. I like Candy.
Yeah, that's the Midweek Zap audience, the Zapsters. They're a gun-ho crew, Jason.
I guess so. Wow. Yeah. A bunch of people here I've never seen before. Why?
Yeah. So we're coming to the end of our time, and we told everyone we were going to talk a little bit about social warfare. So you're on.
Yeah, social warfare. Let's go back to why. Why are you blogging, right? You're sending out your blog because you want to get found, and there's a couple ways that you can get found with your blog online, right? You can get found organically through SEO, or you get found in social. So if you're going to get found in social, then you want something that's going to supercharge that, right? The beauty of social warfare is it's built so that you kind of construct the way that your followers share your content. Instead of just hitting the tweet button and have some generic title and then, some first sentence, today we're going to be talking about Marquette ... and then a long link, right? I can really script. I can use those 140 characters really well now with my custom tweets, and I can put in the Pinterest image that's the right size. It's the 600 by 900 or whatever the right dimensions are. I always get them messed up, but that's Dustin's job. But is it a landscape image? Is it a tower image? And so we've developed this plugin with bloggers in mind, but not just bloggers in mind, with people who are looking for ways to really generate to share your content the way that you want your content shared. I guess that's really the easiest way to say it. And so it gives you a lot of control over when people push those share buttons and they just kind of, they quickly run in, they hit tweet, and they run out, and they don't think about it. Well, what they've just done is they've not only sent a tweet, but they've also sent a picture. And of course, picture on Twitter takes up a lot more real estate. There's a blog over on warfareplugins.com. I'm sure that somebody will put it into that. Kristen or Nick, go ahead and throw a link into the comment stream right now for me, if you would, please, guys. And, yeah, how long do you usually go? You said 40 minutes you usually go?
Yeah, we usually go about 40 minutes.
Oh, well, I told you I'd only do 30, but you know what? I'm having a lot of fun. So if you got one or two more questions, or if anybody else in the room has a question, I'll stick around a little bit.
Yeah, plop your questions in here right now. One of the things I found with social warfare is that it's fast when you're setting it up. And I think we're all time conscious, and and first I thought, oh my gosh, I have to do a separate tweet, and I have to do a, Pinterest image and all that. But once you start using it, it goes really quickly. It goes really quickly. And the other thing is, speaking of visuals, and Dustin, it looks good on your blog page.
Dustin did an amazing job on the visuals. It's absolutely gorgeous. And Nick did a phenomenal job of making it the fastest, not just fast to actually add the content to, but it's super fast in that the way that your pages load. Oftentimes, with other share buttons, you're calling on all these APIs and all of these JavaScripts and style sheets, and it's a lot of heavy load on your page, so your page loads are much slower. Not with social warfare, because we've got a secret recipe that we do that nobody else is doing that makes the page loads, super fast. That's what my son says. I'm super fast.
Super fast. Yeah. Anyway, it's just I heartily recommend it to anyone who has a blog. It's just a fantastic plugin. I know for me that is what happened. I took away all the other social stuff, Jason, and my page load was much faster.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, I mean, it isn't just theoretical, folks. It really actually works. So, so I am, Jason, why don't you take about 3 minutes and tell us your favorite rant? I just made that up on the spot.
So my favorite rant.
Yeah.
I think I kind of touched on it. I think one of my biggest rants is this notion that you have to be blah blah blah. You have to do blah blah blah, right? You have to be on social media. You have to. And Molly Youngblood, if you can find her comment here, Zara, and
Yeah.
because it kind of touches on this, right? And I won't turn it into a rant, but I'm going to talk a little bit about. She said recently, there we go. Recently, November 2014, Knowledge Graph for first search results. It's now displaying social profiles for big brands, musicians, actors, but there are plans for it to roll out for everyone. So being on social is really, really important. And speaking of real estate, if you're not on social, there will be a blank space if you are not on social. Now, so there are many, many reasons why you have to be on social, right? But I'm going to say that there's equally as many reasons why you don't have to be on social. And I think that whenever you hear anybody that comes up to you and says you have to do this, you have to optimize Pinterest, you have to be on Facebook, you have to be on Twitter, then I would say to them, why? Why do I have to be? And if you can give a sufficient why, if you can answer that sufficiently, then do it. Absolutely do it. Be there, pump it out. But I'm telling you what, there are tons of local business owners that are doing incredible only by having optimized local SEO. Go to moz.com/local, go through their tool. It's very affordable. And that's what I would say to a local business owner. First, be there. I've got one client. She's just absolutely amazing. Pipe Spies Incorporated out of Denver, Colorado. And I mean, what an inglorious thing to talk about on social media, taking a video pipe scope down underneath the ground and looking for cracks in pipes, right? So the question is to tell her you have to be on Pinterest and Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. And what's she going to put on Instagram? I mean, come on. I mean, okay, maybe there's some strategy that you could come up with, and I'm sure there's people out there that could come up with something. But, you know, if somebody tells her she has to be there, then I'm going to tell her why. And so I'm going to say, let's back off. Well, I can say you have to be on local search. You have to be optimized for local. And she'll say, well, why do I have to be? And I'll tell you why. Because you can piggyback off of these bigger Yelp, for example. You're never going to outrank Yelp in your local industry, right? So you're never going to outrank Yelp. So what you need to do, you're never going to outrank Yellow Pages. You're never going to. So what you do instead is you get inside of their local directory and outrank the other people in your industry. Now I'm getting off on a tangent, but
That's what we asked you to do. Rant. That's so great. And while you were ranting, Karen Chen asked for the cost of social warfare, and Nicholas gave her an answer: $24.
$24. Yeah, and just so you know, we are going to be going. You know, we're talking scaling and we are going to be going to a subscription model. That's what most of the other plugins that are in our vertical, if you will, or in our niche. Flare and Add This, their premium plugins are 84 and 29 or 84 and 48 or something like that a year. Ours is a one-time price, but it's not going to stay that way. Very quickly, soon here, after we get through this initial launch, we're going to be moving to a subscription base, but we're going to grandfather in. I probably should have talked to the guys before I said this out live on air, but you're going to want to get in at the $24 rate. It's not going to be around long, and I'm not just saying that. It's you just heard me talk about scaling your business and residual, right? Am I going to want this thing? And you know how good it is. Zara, would you pay $24 a year for this thing, or do you think it's only worth $24 once?
Oh, 24 years, absolutely worth.
$2 a month
Yeah,
to have the most incredible social sharing. But come on, I mean, all right.
No, it's fabulous. You guys have done such a terrific job. I just have to congratulate you.
We've got a lot more rolling out, but I don't want to go. This isn't the social warfare show, but.
You know, Jason, I can't believe it, but we are coming to the end of our time. So I want to thank you so much for being here. It was just total intensive. Love, love your enthusiasm. You had so much information to share today. Just a fabulous show, and we can tell from all the audience responses and questions you really got people thinking about things. I can't, and that's the whole point of this midweek zap, is we want people to think and to do. And I really appreciate your being here. It's been so much fun. It's been terrific. Oh, Tammy has a question. Is there a fee to use it? No, Tammy, right now it's 24 bucks. That's it. $24 and you're in.
Zara, I'm gonna throw out something here. I don't usually do this, and I probably shouldn't do this, but I see that we have a small. I mean, we've got 25, 30 people here. What I'm gonna do is, if anybody buys Social Warfare right now, like if I see it come through in the next, I don't know, hour, I'll say it's what, 340 right now. Anything between now and 440. Anybody that buys that, I'll look for your email, and you can have. We'll set up a 30-minute consulting about your business strategy if you want. And I'll just sit down with you, and we'll do a 30-minute consulting on your business strategy. I don't know if that's of value to anybody or not, but if it is, grab a plug-in, and I'll tell you what, that 30-minute session is worth more than $24, and you get a free plug-in with it. So how's that sound?
Oh, that is just incredibly gracious, Jason. Thank you so much. That is just astounding. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you,
Well,
Zach.
thanks for having us on here. Thanks for letting me pitch some of our, hawk some of our wares, or borrow your soapbox for a few. I'll give it back here in a minute. So.
All right, Jason. Thank you so much, and thank you everyone for being here and all your great involvement. And we'll see you next week. Ciao.
Thank you, Zara. Yep. Bye now.